One card that has been on my credit card roadmap for 7 months now is the Chase Ink Unlimited credit card. Considering I've been stuck at 524 with Chase for the past 4 months, when I saw these 90,000 point offers come back for the Chase Ink Cash and Chase Ink Unlimited credit cards, I was just praying that they would stay around until I was back under 524. I was spoiled at the end of 2022 and was able to lock in one of those offers on my Chase Ink Cash that I applied for, but I've run through literally every single one of my Chase points since then, so seeing 90,000 points become available again made me really want them. But there is one catch here. I'm not technically in the safe zone with Chase's 524 rule, but with this offer expiring tomorrow at the time of me recording, I figured why not take a shot at this and at least just document the process on the channel for y'all. Until now, I've been on a 10 credit card streak of getting automatically approved in all of my applications, but is that streak going to end today? Let's find out together. I'll be breaking this video down into 4 main sections here. Part 1 is going to be a quick overview of the Chase Ink Unlimited. Part 2 is going to be me explaining why I'm applying for this card in particular. Part 3 will be going into my data points at the time of me applying for this card. And then part 4 will be the live application. And if we have to go through reconsideration line or something like that afterwards, that's going to be documented as well. So let's go ahead and dive into part 1, a review of the Chase Ink Unlimited. Now, this card really is extremely simple. The first thing I want to mention, of course, is that it is a business credit card from Chase. It's part of the Chase Ink credit card family, and it is literally the simplest out of all of them. Earning categories wise, it's just going to give you an unlimited 1.5% back on all of your purchases, but that 1.5% is awarded as Chase Ultimate Rewards points, which can then be combined with your higher tier Chase cards, even on the personal side, like with your Chase Sapphire Preferred, to then transfer out to travel partners, which is what makes this card so valuable, whether or not you have a big business that you're running a lot of spend through or not. Something about this card that y'all might care about more than I personally do is that it does come with a 0% intro APR period for the first 12 months of having it. I'm not somebody that ever really cares about intro APR periods because I do think that they are a somewhat slippery slope. I know some people like to leverage those like crazy. I just don't think that credit cards are a debt that should be leveraged, but that's just my personal opinion. With the earning categories, like I mentioned, flat 1.5% back on everything, but you also do get 5% back on Lyft rides right now through March of 2025. So if you don't have a card that gives you that, maybe this is a small use case for it. However, I think one, if not the biggest thing that most people are applying for this card for right now is the fact that it has this 90,000 Chase Ultimate Reward point welcome offer associated with it. As for smaller benefits, this card does offer a lot of travel and purchase protections, such as a primary auto rental collision damage waiver, travel and emergency assistance services, roadside dispatch, purchase protection, and extended warranty protection. So if you don't have any of that on your other business credit cards or even your personal credit cards, this might be able to help you out there. I want to quickly reiterate the fact that this card earns Chase Ultimate Rewards points. It's not just a cashback credit card. So even though it might be kind of advertised as that, just know that you can combine the points from this card, a business credit card with Chase, with your personal credit cards or vice versa in order to transfer your points out to travel partners or redeem in whatever fashion you want to. I consider all of my Chase Ultimate Rewards points to be one full balance. I don't split them between business and personal. They are literally just all one group of points that I use for free travel, basically. Okay, so nothing too crazy with this card, but that leads me into part 2, being why am I applying for this credit card? Well, there are really 3 main reasons for this, starting with number 1 being the welcome offer. 90,000 points for $6,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months of having it is really an insane welcome offer for a no annual fee credit card to give you. I'm also super low on Chase points right now, like I mentioned, so topping off my account with 90,000 more points would be huge for me. The base welcome offer on this card is for 75,000 points for the same $6,000 worth of spend in 3 months. And while 15,000 points may not sound like a ton to be missing out on if I wasn't to apply for it during this promotional period, 15,000 points can really go a long way. It could help you stay at a Hyatt property for free for a night. It could do a lot of things for you. So I'm trying to get the most value out of these applications that I can. Do remember though that you can technically get the bonus on this credit card or any of Chase's credit cards multiple times. And the ways to do that is first, you can wait out the 2-year clock and do the whole product change this card to a different Chase Ink card and then reapply for the Chase Ink Unlimited with the new welcome offer on it. The same logic applies to the personal cards with Chase as well. For example, with the Chase Freedom cards, you have to wait 2 years between reapplying for a card to get the welcome bonus again. And with the Chase Sapphire card, that rule is every 4 years. Or secondly, if you want to get this bonus multiple times, you can actually apply under different businesses. So for example, I have an LLC. I could apply for this card under my LLC, but I could also apply as a sole proprietor and get the bonus twice on it. And that does not require you to necessarily wait the 2 years. So that is one little trick of the trade that might help you out. I personally don't have that much spend to be running through multiple of these credit cards, but for people with a little bit bigger businesses or just higher spend in general, you can implement a strategy like that if you wanted to. For me right now, my main focus on the business side is just building some credit history under my LLC, hence why I'm going to be applying under my LLC and not as a sole proprietor for this card even though in the past I applied as a sole proprietor for my other business credit cards, at least a couple of them. But the cool thing is, if I do want to reapply for those cards down the line, I could do so under my LLC and vice versa. The second big reason I'm applying is because it gives you 1.5% back on everything. So my use case for it would be as my business catch-all credit card, specifically online. I'd really like to use it for every single one of my purchases, but I do still plan on using the Amex Blue Business Plus in my personal physical wallet because that card has no raised numbering, and I'd like to still use it semi-frequently in order to keep it active and everything. But I honestly make 95% of my purchases for my business online. So that's why I want to make the Chase Freedom Unlimited my online catch-all credit card that I can run the majority of my business spend through. The third reason is a slightly more subtle one, and that is that I'm trying to build out the Chase Inc. trifecta right now. As I've already mentioned, I have the Chase Inc. Cash already, but that honestly rarely gets any use. I'm not personally a fan of buying gift cards at office supply stores for 5x back and doing that whole method. I know a lot of y'all are into that, and it's not a bad method. Obviously, you're getting more value from that card than I am, but I just don't fully feel comfortable doing that and don't want to go out of my way to do so. And I would use it for my internet bill to give me 5x back on that purchase, but my internet is run through my rental company, so I can't separate those expenses out. I'd also want to try to use it for 5x back on my phone bill, but considering the Chase Inc. Cash does not offer cell phone protection, I've been putting all of my phone bills on my Venture X instead, since I get that protection there. So really right now, I just have smaller business subscriptions on it that keep it active, but I'm not using it a ton. As for the Chase Inc. Preferred, which I have not applied for yet, I'd mainly be targeting this card for the welcome offer. Once again, it's right now offering 100,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points for $8,000 worth of spend in 3 months. Right now, I don't have $8,000 to spend in 3 months, but if that time ever did come, I would like to add the Chase Inc. Preferred as well. And it also has a ton of 3x earning categories, most of which aren't extremely valuable to me, either because I already have cards that cover those categories, or they just aren't ones that I ever spend in. But the one that would be valuable would be for the phone services. I'd get 3x back on those purchases, and the Chase Inc. Preferred has cell phone protection, so I could solve my issue of not being able to use the Chase Inc. Cash for those purchases with the Chase Inc. Preferred. The Chase Inc. Preferred also gives you access to Chase's transfer partners, so if you don't have access to those yet, I would highly consider looking at the Chase Inc. Preferred to help give you that. But I already have the Chase Sapphire Reserve on the personal side, so I'm covered there. Honestly, once you are somebody like me who gets into that 10 plus credit card range, every credit card usually serves one very specific purpose, which I've talked about in another video recently if you want to check that out after this one. So for me, besides the welcome offer, of course, being the main reason I had applied for the Chase Inc. Preferred, I would just use it as my cell phone card. Also remember too that with the Chase Inc. Preferred, you could get a ton of value from it in year one with that welcome offer, but you could also downgrade it to one of the no annual fee Chase Inc. cards after year one if you did not continue to get value from it. But moral of the story here, I do want to complete the Chase Inc. trifecta at some point, and adding the Chase Inc. Unlimited helps me to get 2/3 of the way there. Now let's jump into part 3, my data points at the time of me applying. My last personal card that I applied for was the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card back on September 5th of 2023. My last business credit card was the Amex Amazon Business Prime card on April 15th of 2023. So what does that put us at? Like 4 months since my last personal card, so last inquiry in general. And for my last business credit card, I didn't even get a hard inquiry for that since it was an Amex credit card and I already had Amex credit cards before that. So my credit report is looking pretty clean at the moment, which hopefully will help me to get approved for this card. Now let's talk about my 524 status because that's where things get a little bit tricky. Technically right now I am at 424, but that is as of January 13th, 2024. It is now January 17th of 2024, meaning that I've only waited 4 days since dropping under to try to apply for this card. And data points tend to corroborate the fact that you need to be waiting until the first of the next month following your, dropping under 524 in order for that to officially take place. So technically I should be waiting until February 1st to apply for this card because Chase's systems don't always recognize you being under 524 until that next month comes. I obviously though cannot wait that long because these offers expire tomorrow. So honestly, this is going to be a bit of a prayer. I fully expect having to call Chase's reconsideration line after applying for this card. That way I can try to get through to a normal person who can see that I am actually under 524 and push my application through. But even with that still, I might not get lucky enough to get it. But I'm making this video whether or not I get approved at the end of it. So obviously just stick around to see what happens. And hopefully by the end of it, I will be able to get approved. As for my credit scores, I got my TransUnion and Equifax information from Credit Karma. So don't hate me for that, but just taper your expectations a little bit. However, I did confirm at least my Equifax score is the same on Equifax's website. So we should be pretty safe here. As for TransUnion though, my credit score with them is 763 and I have 4 hard inquiries with TransUnion right now. With Equifax, I have a credit score of 769 with 1 hard inquiry. And with Experian, I have a credit score of 754 with 2 hard inquiries. So right now, the most hard inquiries I have are with TransUnion. In general, Chase seems to mostly pull Experian in Texas. So them only seeing 2 hard inquiries hopefully will help me in this case. But also I don't have like 20 hard inquiries, which theoretically means that I shouldn't have an issue on that front. Now that is everything up until the point where I am ready to apply for this card. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in on my computer screen. Okay, so first of all, I want to note that I came in here off camera because I don't want to show my credit reports completely and unfroze all of my credit reports. So I had placed a freeze on my TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian credit reports, but I went ahead and lifted those today so I could, get approved for this one theoretically without them having to, make me do that in post. In post is such a dumb way to say that. That's my YouTube brain for you, but I think you get the point. But yeah, I went ahead and unfroze all of my reports or thawed them out. So now I'm going to go ahead and just type in my browser, my website /Inc Unlimited. That way I can get directed to the 90K offer that should still be active through my affiliate network, which is one of the pros for both you and I, as me being a part of an affiliate network gives me access to links that might actually stay extended longer than the public welcome offers do. Okay, so here we are. You can see my little logo here in the top left, which shows us that we are in the right place. Also, you can see that this best offer ever ends on January 18th at 9 a.m. EST. It is now Wednesday, January 17th at 1:10 p.m. CST. Yeah, I guess you don't care about the time, but either way, it just goes to show that this offer expires in the morning. So I'm trying to jump on it now and go through recon and all that if I need to before that deadline ends. But I've already gone through all the benefits of the card here. You could, of course, come to my website to read more about it. Have some great authors that write stuff down about each of the cards that I mentioned in my videos. So definitely check those out. But I'm going to go ahead and click on learn how to apply here under the card. That is going to redirect me to Card Ratings website, which also looks like it's been revamped lately. As we can see here, still have the same highlighted offer, which is good to see. And now I'm going to go ahead and click apply now through Chase's website. It's going to redirect me there now and we can finish the application there together. Okay, so here we are on Chase's website. Everything looks a little bit different once again, but we can still confirm that we are getting the right offer on this card. And it is, of course, the Inc Business Unlimited. Got to make sure, as you can see here, you could go to different Inc cards if you wanted to on the left, but I'm going to be applying for the Inc Business Unlimited right now. So after clicking apply now, it brings me to the actual application, which I want to run through with y'all real quick so you know kind of what to put in if you're going to be applying for it. As you can see, there is quite a bit, so let's try to jump through this really quickly. As for all of the personal info, this is pretty self-explanatory. You can, call yourself whatever you want of your business, put in your first, middle, last name, date of birth, mother's maiden name, and then we get down to the tax ID type, which for most of us is going to be our social security number. You're going to put that here on the right. Then you put in your address, and, most likely going to be a domestic address, and fill that out as normal, including your email address and phone number as well. And then we get down to our total gross annual income, which is a number that we should cover real quick. So as we click on this I here, we can see a little bit more about this. Basically states that the total annual income includes full-time, part-time internships or seasonal jobs, self-employment, interest or dividends, investments, retirement. So basically literally everything that you earn should be put on this line. And down here it says if you're 21 or older and regularly use income from others to pay your bills, you can include that too. So keep that in mind. It's literally all of your income and it's your gross annual income pre-tax. So the higher number here, technically the better, but be reasonable with it. Personal information aside, let's now get into the business info, which is a little bit more difficult. You have your legal business structure, which you should know at this point. If you're applying as a sole prop, meaning that you don't have an official business, you can put that here, or you can do an LLC if that's what you have, like myself. You're going to put your business legal name here and desired business name on card. Pretty self-explanatory. If you have a DBA or a doing business as name, you're going to check yes on this one and then put in what that other name would be. Then we come down to the tax ID type. Most of us are going to be putting EIN if you have an LLC or S Corp or what have you. But if you're applying as a sole proprietor, you can put your social security number here, which means that you don't need any kind of official business, once again, to apply for this credit card. Then here it asks if your business's physical address is the same as your personal address. This is going to be where they ship the card to, so you want to make sure that you put the right thing here. Your number of employees is going to be all additional employees, not including yourself. So you just enter 0 if you're the only employee, which I think a lot of us will be. Business phone number, again, pretty self-explanatory. Then we come down to the business established date. That's something I'm actually going to have to look up because I honestly forgot what date I established this business, but that shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out. The annual business revenue is going to be one that I think a lot of people kind of get a little bit weary about. The moral of the story here is that you don't want to put $0. Obviously, if you make $0, then they're not going to want to extend you any credit line. So at least put something here. It can be what you expect to make in a year. It doesn't have to be exactly what you made last year or something like that. It's more of a projection here. So keep that in mind. And again, you want to be rounding up rather than rounding down for this number, but be reasonable with it in case for whatever reason you had to somewhat prove this. Business category, business type, business subtype. These are all very interesting. And honestly, I forgot what I even put on my last applications here. So I'm gonna have to maybe look through that again, but I don't even know if I could find that. But basically, you're just going to find what applies to you the most and put that down here. Your business type is going to be dictated based on your business category, and the subtype will be based on the business type. So all of these you'll be able to fill out once you figure out exactly, what your business most closely aligns with here. And then your NAICS code is also based on your business type, which you can find online if you haven't entered this into anything before. But of course, you just want to get close enough to it. It doesn't have to be exactly right, but they just want to make sure they know what type of business you're running, because that helps them extend a certain amount of credit to you, etc. Your estimated monthly spend is one that you, again, don't want to put 0 on, because they want you to spend some money on these credit cards, but it's really just the average monthly amount you would charge on this card, and that's going to differ person to person. Percent of ownership is self-explanatory, but if you own the business by yourself, you're going to own 100% of the business, so that's easy enough. Then it's going to ask you if you want to add any employee cards. I personally do not, but you have that option to do so here if you wanted to. And it looks like you can add up to 5 employees to your account. They each get their own individual card. And also, if you didn't do it now, you could just request it online later. So might be something to do then. Sometimes certain lenders will give you like extra points if you add an employee card later and spend a certain amount on it. Usually that applies to Amex cards in particular, but maybe a reason to wait until after the application to add the employee cards. I guess that's kind of up to you. Personally, I always just choose to go paperless with my credit cards. And then you get down to the pricing information. So we can see that 0% intro APR for the first 12 months, which again, I don't exactly care about. And then it tells you what the average will be after that 12-month period. There's a bunch of APRs in here, but at the end of the day, as long as you're paying off your cards on time and in full every month, you should not have to worry about APRs at all. As for fees, a big one to look at is the annual membership fee, which of course for this card there is none of, which is a big reason why I want to apply for it. And then transaction fees and penalty fees are also important. The main transaction fee that most people care about are the foreign transaction fees, which this one does have one of, being 3%. So obviously not a card to take with you overseas, but if you wanted to, you could either use one of your personal Chase credit cards that has no foreign transaction fees, or the Chase Inc. Preferred has no foreign transaction fees as well. Again, penalty fees are somewhat important, but if you're paying off your cards on time and in full, you'll never have to worry about these. After you do all of that, you can click the I've read and agreed to the above and submit the application. So now let me take a few minutes here and run through this myself so we can get back to the final submit button together. Alrighty, well, I filled everything out here. Did want to mention one thing I figured out while going through it is that NAICS code will automatically populate based on your selections for the business type and all of that. So you don't actually have to look that up. So that's good news. But everything is entered now. And again, I'm pretty nervous for this one because I don't think I'll actually get approved right away, which is going to suck. But hey, we might be able to, so you never know. Went ahead and checked the I've read and agreed to the above, and it's time to submit our application here in 3, 2, 1, submit. Moment of truth, baby. How long will this circle? That is the real question. And I'm just expecting not a good sign here. Oh, well, Jesus, I don't know what is going on with my applications, but once again, I was approved automatically for the Inc. Business Unlimited credit card, which is awesome. Why they keep giving me the most annoying credit limits is it honestly just doesn't make sense to me. But $3,000 is not exactly what I was looking for. That's exactly what I got on my Chase Inc. cash as well, but I don't use that card as much as I would be using this one. This might actually hurt me in trying to get the welcome bonus requirement hit very quickly, which is what happened with my Chase Inc. cash as well. But I'm going to do everything I can to make my payments early, free up that credit access line, and still hit that welcome offer as soon as I possibly can. But yeah, looks like I am all set for that card. First new approval in 4 months, but first business approval in what is that, like 9 months? That's pretty exciting. And what I want to mention here too is that if this is your first Chase Business credit card approval, you'll be able to set up your Chase for Business account, which is different from your Chase personal account, but you can merge the two by calling them, or there might even be a button that you can click to do that. And I personally just always access my Chase account through the Chase for Business one because it shows all of my cards there instead of just my personal ones. But yeah, that is really good news, honestly. That actually frees me up to do something else that I want to do right after filming this one, and that is applying for another new credit card on the same day. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to start filming that video. But if you do want to see me apply for not only that future card, but all the other most popular credit cards that I've personally applied for, I'll direct you to this playlist next where you can do so. As always, Odin and I both want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.